important parts of real estate. Buying right, certainly the deal side is very important. A lot goes into that. Building up the reputation, the flywheel, finding those off market deals, super valuable. But the secret sauce of the value prop we bring that I think we do very, very well is the execution, the operations side. So we do everything in house. A lot of people say they're vertically integrated. They still outsource different components. We truly do it all in house. So from acquisition to leasing, property management, maintenance, construction, all the way to capital raising, all is done in our house with our W-2 employees. We control it all. And that control and execution and speed, which is our primary focus and differentiator, is everything. So a lot of people think real estate's passive. They'll buy a property, they're outsourced the management to some third-party company, set it and forget it, right? That is not how you do well in real estate. You do well by controlling all the operations and running it like an efficient, well-oiled machine. So when I say that, we do things extremely different than most. So my leasing team is a high-ticket sales office team. I have 5 setters. They're cold calling every inbound lead within 60 seconds. When I get an inbound lead to rent one of my properties, they're called within 60 seconds. They're handed off to one of my leasing managers. We have 5. We do everything virtually now. We have every showing completely dialed in, all the media, the script is dialed in. Every single call gets recorded. Every call gets fed through my AI automation machine. They get a scorecard. It tells them exactly how close they were to the script, where they missed an objection, what they should have done following, and it constantly teaches them and improves them like real-time high-ticket sales coaching does. So I have a sales manager who manages that entire team. We trend for 99% occupancy. Every property needs to be fully leased up. Most of the market's okay with 93, 94% occupancy. Not us. I have a wait list. When someone gives us notice that they're going to move out, my move out manager is going to be there. They're going to post a 24-hour notice check. They're going to go in that unit, do a video walkthrough, get the entire video to my turn manager. He's going to decide what type of turn level we're going to do. He's going to pre-kit palletize all the SKUs. We've standardized every SKU across every portfolio we have. And then the day that that resident moves out, my 3-man turn crew, my construction team is going to come in. They're going to renovate the entire unit. They're going to do absolutely everything down to the studs to finished product, new LVP floor, paint, trim, cabinet, countertops, appliances, bath fixture, bolt-ins in 7 days or less. They work 10-hour shifts around the clock. Our painters work at night. My leasing team has it pre-leased and someone moves in on day 8. We have 0 downtime. And we rinse and repeat that across our entire portfolio throughout all business divisions. All of our work orders are done in 48 hours or less. Our top maintenance guys, every morning we do a stand-up meeting. We do a full map out of exactly where they need to go. They make sure they have all the right parts in their trucks when they go out. We give them all the tools and training they need to be successful to hit that 48-hour maintenance guarantee. And from move-in time to time of renewal, we make sure we give that resident, who's our customer, I mean, our residents are our customers, that white glove experience that they feel safe. They need something fixed, they get fixed. If they call us, someone answers always 24/7. Someone always answers the phone. We do emergency maintenance for free. Christmas night, their toilet's leaking, we'll come and fix it. Not some third party. One of my guys will come and fix it. So everything we've done is from an operational efficiency side. And all me and my business partner, Brandon, do is we look at every business division, every facet, every conversion point. How do we do it better? What's the constraint? How do we do it cheaper, better, faster? Every single time. And so the way we make money is on the value add side. We buy a property that's very undervalued, has a lot of deferred maintenance, a lot of deferred CapEx, typically a mom and pop owner, out of state owner, someone who doesn't care about it. We come and buy it, renovate the entire thing, change the culture of the property, that B plus A minus community, increase rents, usually $200 to $400 per door. And that speed with which we can do it, because on the back end, you can refinance it or sell it and get your capital back. Used to take us 3 years. We buy a 50-unit apartment complex. It'd take us 3 years to turn all the units, increase all the rents. Then it took us 2 years, then 18 months, then 12 months. And then this year, we're going to have our first property this year. We're going to have them completely stabilized, turn all 100% of the units in 9 months. So wow. I'm buying the property, turning every unit, leasing everyone to the max, doing all the exterior CapEx to a fully stabilized property in 9 months or less. So if you want to compete with us, that is what you're competing with. And that operational efficiency has to be done in-house. Where a lot of my competition, they're syndicators, they're GP operators, they come and buy it, they outsource everything, and they put in all these plugs, and they think that they're going to compete with what I just said there, with people that they don't employ, they're contractors that don't care, that don't show up on Saturdays, right? With us, we do time studies on everything. We hold our entire team accountable. We have scoreboards every day. Everyone sees in real time how long it took them to turn a unit, how many leases they've signed this month, right? Everybody's held accountable, and we have a culture of winning, and it's taught from the top down. And we've been that way since the beginning. And that operational efficiency is really going to allow us to grow rapidly.
Where does that come from? Did you morph into that? Did you read something somewhere? Did you see somebody else that had a competitive edge in that, in maybe a different environment? Where does it come from, the structure for that?
Yeah, so just by osmosis, picking up pieces here and there everywhere, right? Being always learning, right? So devour podcasts, devour books, go to many masterminds as you can. And your competitors you look up to, who you really like, get around them, right? Try to get on a call with them, try to pay for access, try to be at the same events they're at, and just pick their brain. Any of the guys that I really like that are ahead of me, I try to get around, I try to pay for access. Alex Hormozy is a huge brand and presence now in the business space. His team is now the gold standard. They're in Las Vegas. They own a company called acquisition.com. I've gone to 3 of their workshops. You got to work with their executive team. I've paid over $150,000 for it, but the return's been 10x. They're the best of the best of the best. And they sit down with you and they go through your constraints. They go through your business model and they just pick it apart and they make it better. And so doing lots of things like that is what kind of bolted all this together. And then every day we just think critically, how do we make it better? Like we constantly are first principle thinking. I don't care what the other 10 guys on the street are doing. How can we do this faster? And we're always asking ourselves, how do we iterate? How do we improve? And that sounding board and feedback over 10 years, right? You just come up with a lot of good ideas and you take action. You got to pivot quickly if it doesn't work, but you got to be willing to take action, test it out, see the results, and then pivot and do something better the next time.
Yeah, I love that. I have been preaching. I've had 10,000 employees over the years, and I have preached to them and entrepreneurs alike, in particular entrepreneurs, because it becomes such an emotional business, right? You're very lonely. You're by yourself, particularly when times are hard. I say you got to change today what you changed yesterday. You got to be willing to change today what you changed yesterday, and you got to be willing to change tomorrow what you changed today. But so many times the guys will say, Jerry, we spent a month putting this thing together. We put it out in the field and you killed it in 2 days. I was like, guys, it didn't work. I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to keep doing the thing that didn't work, figure out what went wrong. Why didn't it work? What did we miss? How did we miss it? Document all that, bring it back, put it back together again, and then we'll put it back out. But I mean, why spend any more time? But the emotion behind that, right? It's I built it, I made it, I did it. It was my idea is so many times hard to give up. But as an entrepreneur and really as an employee too, I think this is an important way to think what you just said, which is constantly innovating, even when you think you've done everything you can to innovate.
Completely agree. I mean, I fully agree with everything you just said. It's full alignment, and you got to be quick to scrap something, right? Throwing good money after bad. Same with time is a terrible idea. We're very quick to pivot. We're very quick to test. And you got to think in smaller time scales, right? A lot of people think like, well, let's talk about it end of week. Let's do a weekly meeting, or let's do it next week, or something like that. We do it today. Why can't this happen today? Why
Yeah.
can't you fix this today? Why not by end of today? If not tomorrow morning, let's talk at tomorrow morning, right? And then if it's, well, we got to think those, let's hop on a call and let's not end the call until we get through the entire solution. When we built out a new renewals manager role, super important for our business, it wasn't like, let's meet every Monday for 20 minutes. We're meeting tomorrow at 8 a.m. until it's done, right? And it took us 16 hours, 2 full days to build it all out, map the entire thing. We did it in 2 days. Most companies would take 2 months, right? And it's just how do you accelerate the time frame of getting stuff done? And you got to get it done, right? There's no reason to get it done tomorrow. When I talk to my team members, they'll joke it's the same way. Like they want to get something done. They have a new initiative, they have a new idea, and I was like, can you have it done by the end of today? And they know that's going to be my first question. Like, I don't care about next week. Do it today, right? Let's get it done today. And then let's see how it goes tomorrow. Let's make it better tomorrow and the
Yeah.
next day. And it gets done so much quicker than, hey, let's talk about it on next Monday meeting. I'm already on iteration 4 by next Monday.
Right. I love that. Last question, financing. So what do you guys do? Is it your own capital to some extent? Are you leveraged? Are you giving up equity? Where are you getting your funding? How do you put it together?
Yeah. So we've been pretty fortunate. We've done pretty well for ourselves outside of real estate and inside. Brand and I, we've self-funded the first 8.5 years. We didn't start taking private capital until last year. We started raising a preferred equity fund, but we still, Brent and I own 100% of the entire portfolio. Very underlevered. We only have about 55 LTV across the entire board. When I saw people get in trouble, they were always over levered. I knew I didn't want to be that way. So we patiently built it up with our own capital the entire time. And we raised some of the money now through that pref equity fund, but we pay a 12% fixed return. It's a very unique structure. I'm happy to talk to anyone about that. But then we get a benefit from all the upside. So we've never given away any of the upside throughout the entire growth, which has been a huge benefit and something we had a really good mentor tell us early on, and we've stuck to it. And there's very, very few people who've been able to do that. So retaining all the upside and the equity has been a big benefit that we've had. Is painful in the early years when you see everyone else just go and raise money, they can buy more deals, etc. But when it's your own money and you don't have any money, you learn to get very efficient at things, right? We're penny pinchers from the Midwest. Every dollar is our dollar. It's not somebody else's. So we treat it very differently. And it's allowed us to be very efficient and have a very low cost basis across our portfolio.
Yeah, I I I I was gonna say that the early days for you doing that, then I'm assuming, just so everybody understands, you would have a property, you manage a property, maybe you turn the property over. It wasn't like you were getting rich, you're turning that money back. I mean, to build up a 55% LTV, you're turning that money right back in year after year after year, deal after deal, I'm assuming, taking out enough to live on, but you're trying to build up the equity portion of your business so that you could exploit it at where you are now, ostensibly. Is that a fair recap?
That's exactly right. And we had our other businesses to kind of we lived off of, right? So we actually took no money out of our real estate business the entire time. We reinvested every single dime always over the last decade. And that's allowed us to compound and grow and keep the equity. And while we had those other businesses, it was great for those reasons to live off of, but it was certainly a distraction being spread thin and thinking you can run four businesses efficiently is running one, especially when your competitors just have one. But that was a benefit of having multiple businesses. We did have the operating cash flow from those. So we didn't have to take any capital out of the real estate business, and we could reinvest it every time we sold or refinanced a property. And that allowed us to retain all the equity and grow over the last 10 years.
I love it. I love everything about your story, man. Again, I wanted to start with the important stuff, which is the family and the wife and the kids and what you've built for yourself there. I'm much more impressed with that, and everybody else should be also, than what you've done in business. But what you've done in business is awfully impressive, and I know I'm inspired. I love listening to entrepreneurs like you that are in the middle of it. And when you talk about pinching every penny, every dollar, real quick, I used to tell my salespeople, I'd walk into a sales call or into a sales meeting, and I'd take a $20 bill out and I'd throw it on the floor, and I'd say, there it is on the floor. They're all looking at it. I said, if you're walking down the street, would you walk over that $20 bill? And they'd say, no, of course not. We'd all pick it up. I say, okay, then why would you discount something of mine that you're selling on my behalf by X amount? It's the same thing, right? There's this disconnect. When you talk about pennies, you're not talking about real pennies, but you're talking about pennies on a piece of paper, which for many entrepreneurs can be very hard to keep track of. And so the fact that you had that discipline to, you know what I mean? You'll spend money, you don't see it, you're not using actual dollars. So I think that's a great lesson in there.